Okay. Thank you everybody for joining the fourth and final session or workshop in our Civic Engagement Workshop for Newcomers series. And today's session we're really excited about. It's all about how to make noise around an issue in your community. And we are very fortunate today to be featuring Dr. Purnima Chowdhury with us as she's going to be the star of today's today's session. So just to start off, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Miranda Ciroli. I am the Knowledge Mobilization and Social Action Coordinator here at Access Alliance. We're going to be giving Purnima a proper and full introduction shortly. But to start off, I'm going to hand it over to my amazing team who have also been supporting this workshop series and making it happen. So maybe Maithili, I'm going to pass it off to you to introduce yourself.
Hello all, this is Maithili. Some of you may have already met me in person or virtually. I have been a volunteer with Access Alliance, supporting different programs and initiatives. And I welcome you all to the last workshop of the series.
So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Saud. I originally became involved in the workshop series as a placement student at Access Alliance, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from her today.
Thank you both. And we also have Yasmin, who is my other student who has been also supported this, putting together this session, and she's kind of behind the scenes today. So a little shout out to Yasmin. All right. So we're going to get moving. So we're not too many people in the room today, but I thought we could start off with a little icebreaker. Some of us know each other, some of us don't. So just to kind of get to know each other a little bit more, and in keeping in with the theme of today's session, we have the icebreaker today is all about change that you want to see in your community. So the first question we're going to ask is, what is your name? Then we're going to ask what neighborhood you live in, and what is one change you would like to see in your neighborhood or community. So maybe Purnima, we can start with you.
Thank you so much, Miranda. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Purnima Chowdhury. I live Oak Ridge community near Victoria Park and Danforth. And yeah, the change, there are lots. I have a long list for sure, but one change that I want to see those at workplace, we are getting those proper respect, less hassle at the workplace, because sometimes as a newcomer, we really deal so many problems. So one thing I can address, for example, equal hours and equal pay. So if one thing I want to add today that I want to see in the workplace. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Saud, do you want to go next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Saud. I live in Hamilton in the Ainswood community. And one change that I would like to see in my community is there is a staircase that allows people to go through a nice little trail instead of driving on Main Street. And that gives this little neighborhood a lot of access as a sustainable mode of transport, but it's kind of fallen in disrepair. So there's a group of my neighbors that are trying to advocate the city to spend the money to repair it. And I hope it gets done.
Great. Do you want to pass it off to somebody, whoever you see next on your screen?
Yes, I see Maithili next on my screen.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Maithili once again. I live in the Annex neighborhood. One thing I do not want to see changing in my neighborhood is demolition of old structures, old houses for the construction of tall skyscrapers, and converting the natural beauty of old houses and a lot of green spaces into just a concrete jungle.
you want to pass it off to the next person?
Whom do I see on my screen? Maria?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Maria. I was an active volunteer at Access Point, but I hardly do anymore now. I just only seniors program. Anyway, I was at Sickard neighborhood, but now moved to Brimley. So still, I'm all the time in that area only. So there's not much change. And the change I would like to see is affordable housing. So that's my biggest change I want. Okay, that's it. So can I pass it to Shaukat?
I think Shaukat just
Vote in the chat,
put
yeah.
it on the chat. Yeah.
And Shaukat
Okay.
also said that he
Yeah.
wants affordable housing for our community and that he lives in Macy Square, Crescent Town.
Great. Thanks, Shaukat. And maybe we'll pass it to Yasmin.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Yasmin and I live in Mississauga. And I cannot say one specific things, maybe less construction for the time in the summer. It's a headache sometimes, but pretty much like about the community matters. I think it's okay. Just like I hope they change the timing for the construction. So right.
And I think Zanatul, you haven't gone yet.
Hi everybody. I'm Zanatul Hosna. I live off this community. And what is one change? Neighborhood. I want to see the change of sorry, change.
Oh,
Maybe
I forgot to put,
equality or same law. Sorry.
I had some examples if people weren't,
Oh,
if you were kind of
oh.
stuck
Yeah,
for
that's
something.
right. Yeah, more green spaces. Yeah, I want to change more green space, tree plantation like that, cleaner air.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I think maybe I'll go, and then I think Nadira has also joined us as well. Thank you so much. So my name's Miranda. I live in the Davenport neighborhood. And I also want to see some more trees and green spaces. I live quite near DuPont, which is kind of more of an industrial part of town. And I see lots of condos coming up, and I really hope that they also have some green spaces that are built into their planning. So it doesn't become just one long condo strip. Really don't want to see that. Nadira, I see you just joined us. We're just doing an icebreaker. Do you want to introduce yourself, your name, your neighborhood, and one change you'd like to see in your neighborhood or community?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nadira, and I am living in Regent Park community in downtown. And what is one change I would like to see in the community? Positive change, which is after revitalization. From outside, people are thinking that in Regent Park, people are living mixed income community happily, but it's not real. So I want to see the real positive change. And we are the example in maybe North America, that mixed income community are happily living each other, but it's not. I want to see the real change. What exactly we see in the paper? We want to see in real outcome. As a community, I want to see that change. Respect, no racism. Everybody live to each other, respect each other's condition. So that is my like expectation, the change I want to see. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nadira. Okay, great. So I think Maithili is just running into some technical difficulties. I think she's just going to be rejoining shortly. Thanks everybody for sharing. Okay, so moving on. Today's workshop, it is a part of a longer series, as I mentioned before. However, each workshop is kind of also a standalone, meant to be a standalone workshop, so covering different topics. But as a whole, the workshop series aims to build the skills, confidence, and opportunities of newcomer clients and community members to be able to participate in civic life in the ways and levels that they desire, and with the ultimate goal of contributing to strong and healthy communities. So for this specific workshop, we're going to be touching on a few different things. As I mentioned, Purnima is going to be sharing some of her experiences and expertise around making noise in the community. And we're also going to be sharing some other resources and information. But overall, we're going to be touching on the following topics. So how do you learn more about an issue that matters to you? How do you connect with organizations or community members taking action? How do you take action and mobilize community others to take action as well? And how do you make noise or connect with the media? Okay, so in different ways, shapes, and forms, we're going to be touching on those topics. So the agenda for the next hour and 10 minutes, we're going to be introducing our guest speaker. And we have a bit of a question period with Purnima. We're going to be picking her brain and listening to some of her experiences, particularly to do with the Decent Work campaign, but also in other areas as well. We're going to be sharing some tips for individuals who want to actually take action around an issue in their community. We can finish off with a bit of discussion. We also have some resources to share, and then we're going to be getting your feedback through a survey. So let me just see if Maithili has been able to join. No, maybe not yet. All right, that's okay. I'm going to introduce Purnima. Okay. Okay, hi again. Okay. Purnima Chowdhury is a volunteer with Workers Action Center, helping to organize the community to raise the awareness of the workers at their workplace. And she is directly involved in civic action by doing outreach, door knocking, postering, petition taking, calling, and meeting with political leaders. And she also is working with Access Alliance as a community health ambassador, serving the community to establish vaccine equity, resolve vaccine hesitancy, and helping the community and people with most recent information and resources. Purnima is a physician back home who completed her bachelor in medicine and master's in public health. She was serving 2 multidisciplinary hospitals in Bangladesh. And before leaving her country, she was a clinical coordinator where males were predominant in the administrative role. She received several appreciations during her work period, and most importantly, she proved herself that a woman can do very challenging jobs. In her personal life, she is a mother of 3 lovely kids. She tries her best to balance her life with taking care of the family and her work. And Purnima migrated to Canada in 2015 with her family and working for the well-being of the community. So thank you so much for joining us, Purnima. It's really great to have you today.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we, Maitili may be able to join back, but in the meantime, I'm gonna, we'll go ahead with the questions as planned. Okay. So we heard that you live in the Oak Ridge neighborhood, but it'd be great to hear a little bit more from you about how long you've lived there, just a little bit more about your history in that particular community.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to admit, I have 3 kids here. Eventually, you will hear some background noise. My apology for that part. My husband is trying his best.
Don't worry about it.
That is life. So yeah. Now, first of all, I really want to thanks from my heart, Miss Nadia. She joined here today. She's my mentor. So I'm really blessed to have her here, and all the participants. I'm really thankful. Thanks all of you to join today. So I am Purnima. I live in Oak Ridge community, and I'm here for 7 years, and now I'm a citizen. And the very first time when I came here, I started knowing this community very well. Just, you can say, to explore myself. And then I feel, yes, we need to do something for the community. So the basic as a newcomer, what we can do. So now I came this for 7 years with those little bit experience, I can say that I really, through this workshop, I want to pass to all of you that as a newcomer, we have rights. We need to know much better, just to not only just to incorporate into the system, even to improve ourselves. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, and that's definitely in line with the messaging that we've really been trying to push through this series, is that the newcomer voice, it really is important, and we need to find different ways to create space for those voices. And hopefully this workshop series is helping a little bit with that. So thank you so much for giving us that little introduction. So we've labeled you a decent work champion, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what are really some of the key issues that you advocate for in your work and your free time, and then even if you can tell us a bit more about when did these issues start to become important to you?
Thank you so much, Mariana. Thank you. So that I already mentioned, when I was a very newcomer, I started exploring this community. And I feel that the problem in the community, or those issues in the community, is not the community, is also belongs to me. So some of the issue that I really want to share today, that we need really work very closely to end of racism. And in the early of this workshop, I mentioned that discrimination in the workplace, that should be minimized. I want to address. And then another thing that we are currently working, that is at least $20 minimum wage. And then the pandemic gave us so much those understanding that we need those 10 paid sick days. Really important. Decent hours we need a union. So through the union, we can prove that we have those rights. And then equal pay for equal work is very important. And another thing that I feel when I was doing those volunteer work, that there are so many temporary agency workers. They really need those protection. And as I mentioned, I was when I was here as a PR, and now I'm a citizen, but there are so many other people, they need those basic standards. So I really working those people that we need those permanent residence status for all. Yeah. So up to this point, I want to address those few issues that we are working from my volunteer participation. And very honestly, I came in this country 2015, and first few months it was really just exploring. And then I started working a project that is called Decent Work for Racialized Women. So through that program, it was so much, I will say, brings opportunity, because I'm a woman of color. So we have really same platform. So I started working with those women. I did so many, I went very in depth of the community to get the information. Where is the basic, those things that women we are facing as being racialized? And actually I especially had chance with, even Nadira is here. She's the organizer of Work Action Center. So I had chance to work with her very closely. So and the project was a collaboration with Access Alliance and Victoria Park Hub. So it's very, very, very big community we focus, not on the Oak Ridge that I'm living now. And I had really good chance to mix with those women, talk with those women. And then I actually realized that we need to work together. And I also become a member of Work Action Center soon after that. I know I have really common interest with Work Action Center. So I started become member, because during the period that I worked with the project, it was kind of similar platform. So we started working with those women, taking petitions, door knocking, outreach, and I feel so blessed, I will say, because I got those people that were really very in depth with the Work Action Center. It helped me to come this long with those issues. Thank you.
And was there any particular experience that you had, a personal experience that you had, that led you to kind of become passionate about these issues in particular?
Thank you so much, Melinda. Thank you for sure. That I mentioned very early that I'm a woman. I'm a woman of color. And when I started working here in Canada, it was not easy. I think most of the women or the newcomer, they have the same feelings. It's really hard work, because we are here as an immigrant. We had a very strong background, but it's difficult to start in a scratch. So we have to explore a little bit. So for me, there was at one time I was doing 2 to 3 works part-time, super part-time. And I have to jump one work to other. And there was like travel time, those TTC time was there. And at the end of there was time, I have to call the daycare that maybe I will be 5 minutes late. So those late, for the daycare after 6, they will be charging some dollar. So it was really hard work for me. Another thing I can address, one of my family member, he actually fired without any reason. So that was really another, I want to say, our personal bad experience, that a worker is not supposed to be fired without any good reason. So we have to really work hard to make those changes, because those people who are making those law, they need to know that, yes, maybe you are thinking a general, but we are getting we are suffer. So they should know the message that now we are discussing, it should be round through the community. The message should be collective to reach to them, so they can hear, yes, this is not a one single voice. This is the voice for the community. Yeah. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you. That's very powerful. Yeah, it's amazing that you, despite all of the multiple jobs and kind of running around, that you were still able to, you made time to get involved in that research project. And then if anybody's interested, I can share some more information about that project with everybody afterwards. yeah, so the Decent Work for Racialized Women project. Yeah, that was a few years ago now. And I must have run into you because I was at Access Alliance
Yeah,
at the same time. So it's quite possible we met each other before.
I hope so.
So thank you so much for sharing. So on May 1st, just this month, we saw you give an exciting, riveting speech. I was not expecting to. I was just blew my socks off really when I saw you up there because I wasn't expecting that. So it was at the Decent Work rally downtown, and you were there representing the Decent Work cause. And if you don't mind, we have a little video clip that we'd like to share with
Yes.
everybody of your speech.
Thank you so much.
Give me a second to get this up and running. And just maybe give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
So depressed, not knowing when she's working, how many hours of days, or whether you will have wage, make her life terrible. She has now ended up with diabetes, migraine, and other harmful health conditions. On top of this, she does not get paid sick days if she is sick. She has no choice. So she has to work rather than stay at home to take care of herself with pay. She told me it would be great if there were strict laws in the workplace for part-time workers, so have decent hours and a fair schedule to live their lives healthy. This story reflects many workers struggling in my communities, directly related to the weak labor laws in the Ontario. That is why the Justice for Worker campaign receives so much support from my neighborhood. That is why the Justice for Worker campaign, so many people are suffering and want to join this campaign. There's lots of support from this campaign. So that's why I am here. We want decent wages to put food on our tables. But we also wish to pay basic days, work respect, and a stronger voice. There are many ways you can be part of this incredible movement. The best and the most important thing you can do is start educating your family, friends, neighbors about why decent work is essential. You can get together with other people in the neighborhood and organize a delegation visit to your local MPP to explain why decent work and paid sick days are so essential. You can put up our campaign poster in your neighborhood, window, or door in support of $20 minimum wage now and encourage others to do so that politicians can get a strong message before the election about what their community needs. And of course, please vote for candidates who support the justice for workers and decent work for all this June 2nd, 2022 provincial election. Yeah!
Amazing. I'm so curious. You're an amazing public speaker. Have you done a speech like that before, or was that your first time?
Back home, sure. And here, like not this much big crowd in front of the big crowd. So in a sense, it's what is biggest piece with you were there. So it was like really big crowd. So yeah, I was happy to be there. Yeah, thank you.
And so, I mean, you're connected with the Workers Action Center, and so that's obviously how you got connected with participating in this Decent Work rally. But I'm curious, like, how did you actually prepare for that speech? You know, did you speak with other people, other community members? Yeah, I'm just curious to hear how your planning process happened.
Thank you so much, Miranda. That I said, like, Miss Nadia is here. I'm really, I don't know, there's not enough words for me to express my gratitude to her. So thank you so much, Miss Nadia. She actually prepared everything for me. So there was a few conversation among us, even that you said, yes, with the community people, for sure. Before preparing everything, we were in the community to get the message, what is going on, what is their demand, what we are doing, whether that is matched with the community, for sure. So every input was there, but the script is made by Miss Nadira, and every encouragement comes from her. So it is really amazing experience from my side.
Thank you so much. Okay, and you know, we also, a colleague of mine also recently shared your feature interview in the Toronto Star, which yeah, I was very impressed to see that. And you know, I think everybody would be interested to hear a little bit more about how that experience was. So how did that work exactly, when, you know, in terms of getting in contact with the media? Did they contact you? How was that whole experience?
So Miranda, thank you for the question. So for the interview, although I have to mention this is not my first time to be with a reporter. I did some interview before, but most likely with the Civic Action Per, this is my very first time with Toronto Star. And I'm a volunteer with Work Action Center, and they gave me the wonderful opportunity. Purnima, you are ready to go, so you can do that one. So those encouragements came from Ms. Dinalat, for sure, our organizer head, and Ms. Nadia. They are actually, the basic encouragement came from their side. And the interview was with Toronto Star, and importantly, that the interview that I went through, it was my personal experience, each and every part, and it feels so good to me when I was expressing those struggle as a newcomer. And that I said, as a newcomer, this could be my little story, but it is happening each and every newcomer's life. Maybe I am happy, I am lucky that I can express, but I was their voice, that I can only say. So interview was really good, because their question was totally came from the need from the community peoples. That time it was our our campaign that that Decent Work for All, and that campaign went. We were actively door knocking. We were in the community. We were taking those petitions. So we had those conversations with the community people. We heard from them what actually they are looking for. So, and the reporter, she was really, really well organized, and she also connected with the demands. So it was really happened so well to express what is actually happening here, and what actually our demand. So yeah, those all about. And maybe you had the report, you read a little bit, so that I only can mention is maybe a little bit my personal story, but it reflected the community people's voice, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And because I know sometimes reporters have to, you know, they have to be really selective with the content that they end up actually putting in the final product. Did you feel like you really captured the messages that you wanted to get across? Like, did she validate that draft with you, like to make sure that, you know, she had, you know, captured the really important points that you wanted to include?
Yeah, the basic workout we did together, because the interview went really long, and I from my part, I had a really good input that I enlisted, but the question was really general. She tried to get very depth what actually happening as a newcomer lives, and what actually we want to see as a worker, as a community people, as a newcomer. So it actually was incorporate with everything, every aspects.
Mhm. So it was easy for you to kind of
That's
really
true.
talk through it because you've been doing this work for some time now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, we'll also share the link to the Toronto Star article if anybody's interested. I do highly encourage them to
Thank you.
take a look at that afterwards. All right, so we're drawing to the end here, but this is one really broad but I think important question. Why do you think it's important to get involved in civic action, make your voice known, especially as a newcomer? You kind of touched on that at the beginning, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, and what influence do you believe that this has on the community that you live?
Thank you, Miranda. That is the important part. I always feel I was a newcomer, and still I feel for the who, when I see a people, like a person is here as a newcomer and they need really resource, they really need those information. I really feel, because I still can remember those early days. I was like here and there to get those information, and at a certain time I was, oh really, it's very too tough to get those information. So now we have all the information handy in our hands. That's why we're on the subway. That's why we're on the in front of the building. That's why we're door knocking. We're taking those petitions because we want to pass those messages, because these messages are so important for a newcomer to get involved. So one thing I have to address, so like civic action is very important, honestly, especially for a newcomer, to empower them and to increase their self-determination. Because so when they will have those skills and those self-confidence, need to enter into the workplace. So what actually means, I know, maybe as a person I know many things, but I don't know how to navigate, how to incorporate. But when I'm in system, I have those perfect information, then I can implement those knowledge and make us strong, especially in the workplace. Yeah, and the second part that you asked, so in a thriving community, residents take really active role, that I believe that I'm doing. And through civic engagement, such as like voting and volunteering like me, I think people develop and use knowledges, skills, and those voice is so important to cultivate positive changes. Because that I share, sometimes we believe we have those knowledge, but I don't know how to apply. I don't know how to, I have few rights at workplace for sure, but I don't know how I can like raise my voice. Yes, I have those power, so I am supposed to get those rights back. And so this civic engagement or this kind of actions can help improve the conditions that influence health and well-being is the whole community. And I really want to believe this way. So it is not a single action, it is the group action. It actually like return to the community. Maybe that I have to mention. So here in the Oak community, Victoria and Danforth, we have a small group of members that we really, honestly, we work too hard. And like that I mentioned, we do door knocking, we do outreaches, and then we do petition takings. And it actually helps to strong the community, because you don't know, when I meet with the people and I see those smiles and they say, oh, really, I need those information. So, and they really eager to get involved to our organization. That is like really so amazing.
Mhm.
So I really want to encourage these people, and I can see some familiar faces who were on May 14th on the Excel. There was a big event that Miss Nadira from Work Action Center with a volunteer we organized. It was really, really huge. We got so much those feedback from community people. They were so happy because they said, we never believed this kind of information exists, because we are newcomer. We don't know where to go, how to get. So now we feel really strong and we know where to go to get those information. And maybe I am saying all those things because I am working for Work Action Center, and this is most likely to raise the awareness for the workers. But there's so many issues. There's so many issues that the very first question you said, what the community, how I want to see the better community. So there's like housing, they're like, it could be, you can start from your building. If you see there is some problem that needs to fix, go and raise your voice, gather some people and start discussion. So from one single action, it can go far. That I believe, yeah. So so ways are there, but we need to unite. We really sometimes people, what is civic engagement? What does that mean? So in a very simple, basic term, I want to say is just unite yourself. If you have 5 friends, just unite, discuss. As a newcomer, where is the problem? How we can fix that? If you have those connections, go. And then here we are, Work Action Center is here, so many other organizations, just get and connect. So just start, because you have rights. You have rights here as a newcomer. You have 100% rights, but you have to know. You have to really apply those. Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you. Those are very encouraging words, and I kudos to you and Nadir and the Workers Action Center for the incredible work that you've been doing, and we really look forward to continuing to collaborate more around these issues. I did want to open it up to anybody that might have questions for Purnima. She has a wealth of experience, and this is a really great opportunity to pick her brain about something if you're really, really curious. So yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or even just drop it in the chat. Does anybody have any questions for Purnima before we move on to the next section of the session?
I had a question, and I'll go ahead, but if anyone else wants to add in, please jump in. Purnima, you in your speech mentioned the election coming up, and then that was a really important time for people advocating for decent work to make sure that their voice is heard. And I know that you're joined by a lot of your colleagues today, so maybe they can also add in. But like, what do you see as like the future of your fight for decent work now? Like, what are the big dates coming up? What do you think we need to advocate for? Where do you think the next steps are?
Thank you so much for your question. So it's really, really important question. I was thinking to add, but it's not that I can add everything. So yes, we have a very good like project, future project, like projection, I can say from here, because for a simple example, that the basic wage is now $15. It came through our campaign. It was previously, it was known as 15 and Fairness. So it came through our campaign. It was like we were fighting. I still can remember 2015, so 16, 17. We are like door knocking, taking those petitions gathering people informations or those comments, how they want to see their basic wages. So actually for government, he frees these 15 this basic salary for long, but at last he admired, yes, we need that one. So look, we made it. So now we are fighting for $20, and we are strongly believe we can make that one too, because those days are not too far. There are a few that you asked for the June 2nd. So we already see some of the mandate for our political, those leaders, they are leading. So one I can mention, I will not mention any of their name, their party name, but they already said when they will be on that list position, they will be, eventually they will support, they are supporting our $20 minimum wage. And yeah, it could be a good start, I want to say, to focus this election. And not only that, during the May 14th, that are big event, there is a session that we asked and request the community people. Then eventually, even now, the political leader, they are knocking our door. So we have few questions for them. Go and ask. For example, this one. Do your party support $20? My family member is firing without any reason from workplace. Will your party support that there will be a really, really good, strong law that a employer will not be able to fire without any reason? Will your party will support that status for all? Will your party will support those that the equal hours for equal pay? So we have question, and this is question from the community, and we need to be asked those political leaders. And I hope the message that we passed, still passing, they know. And I believe this the June 2nd, we will really break through, and we will be able to select those leaders. They actually will be cover our demands. I really hoping so. Yeah. So is answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to put political candidates in the hot seat and ask them those direct questions. And we've had a couple pre-election activities in the past couple of weeks in Scarborough Southwest. I think there's one in the Jane and Finch area also either today or tomorrow, and maybe I'll forward the information if it hasn't passed, for a town hall all candidates event as well. So I do encourage people to join. There's just a couple days left, but every minute counts, I think, and it's important to get your issues heard. Do we have any other questions for Purnima? Yasmin.
If nobody else, then I think I have one. First of all, thank you so much, Purnima, for sharing your experience with us. It's really inspiring because for me, I can relate that I came from a medical background too. So that's why I feel, yes. So that's why I know how it is and the kind of challenges. And I admire the fact that in spite of all this, or despite of all this, you chose the civic engagement and the community work, yeah, rather than just what do I do with my degree and where to go. And I know it's a struggle, I understand. So this is one thing. And I just want to ask you, was it an easy access to civic engagement and action work, or did you face some challenges during the process of like where you are now? So how was the path?
Yasmin, thank you so much for your question. And I can feel you. The only word I can say, I can feel you. So after arriving here, I also started some breathing course. Sorry, it's like little off topic, but just to Yasmin, just say. So then we started talking about how we can incorporate this thing that we are so highly professional back home. So where is the gap? So why not we can bridge the gap? So thank you. That is also, I believe, could be a part of our civic action. So we are working on them. Yasmin, I will be in touch with you that one, but go for your main question. Yes, I started from a project to really go in depth with Work Action Center. And I'm really, really so honored to get all those chances, those opportunities for Work Action Center. I am now in a part of program that is called Feet on the Ground. And as a volunteer role, I am organizing Victoria Park Danforth. And for sure, I'm getting 100% support from Ms. Nadira. But yes, there is challenges. Most likely challenge I can say to gather people, because we are newcomer, we are really dealing with so many things. Family is a big part, time is a big part, then knowledge is a big part, and to navigate the system is a big part. So after actually enrolling this Feet on the Ground program, this is basic to see and to reshape us as an organizer. So I want to say I'm able to get a really good group members. So that is one success here in Victoria Park Danforth area. So eventually we do those very regular meetings, outreaches, fostering, petition taking. So big challenge that I shared, it was to get those same-minded peoples. And the struggle is really general. We have families. So, but now after those years, having those experience as a community organizer or as a volunteer with the Work Action Center, we as a whole, it's not me, I have 5 or 7 those people. So we are a little bit confident to go and move around the community. So we came those long, and now we know how we can get connected, and the same message we pass to the community people when we are doing those outreaches. And good thing, the big event that happened on May 14, we got so many good responses that I shared. They got, yes, I know, now I know where to go, where to find, where to connect. So what I feel, we need really to unite. And we are trying our best. Work Action Center, the organization is trying very best to organize really big those events in this particular Victoria Park Danforth area. And hopefully in the future, we will have more. For sure, we will pass this message, we will send those invitations, and we will welcome all of you. Please come and join with us. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you, Purnima. Any other questions before we move on? All right. So now we're going to be sharing some tips for individuals who basically, maybe it's their first time, they haven't done, social action work before. They're interested to get involved around an issue in their community, but they don't know where to start. So we did compile a few sort of tips and recommendations from a couple different sources. And I'm also going to ask Purnima at the end to basically comment or add to the list that we've compiled. Can everybody see my slides? Yeah, okay. This is another photo, by the way, of Purnima's speech on May 1st. Okay. So we've kind of broken it into 3 sections. And as I mentioned, I've got the references here for the 2 different sources. So one was the Community Toolbox, and the other was University of Kansas, 15 Ways to Advance Social Justice in Your Community. And I would also add that, getting involved in social action work is, it's going to look different for everybody. For some people, it's a longer journey. for some people, it may be a shorter level of involvement that they're able to do. And that's totally fine. And people can, you do what you can. But I think, as Purnima said, like, we just need to kind of get started. If it's something that you're really passionate about, just get started in some way. And so we've started off with, step one. So get to know your community. If that's, that is to say, if you're new to your community, maybe you already, have been well established there for many years, in which case you may be very well aware of the different issues that are happening in your community. But if not, we do encourage people to kind of get out, get acquainted with others, as many people as possible, have conversations with people, not just about, it doesn't have to just be about politics and social issues, but it could be about, your personal life, what's going on with your family, what's going on with your work, what's going on in your neighborhood, what's your story to share. And this process helps you kind of learn about the different issues that are in your community. And as well, by reading the news, podcasts, reading the newspaper as well, you start to just get a good snapshot. And then I think, self-reflecting, through all of this, what are the issues that are most important to you? What do you really want to see changed? And then step two would be getting informed. So if there is a particular issue that you want to take action around, the recommendation is really just to find out some more information about that issue. Start to educate yourself about the issue that you're concerned about. Is it, is it an issue that's very local to your neighborhood? Is it Toronto-wide? Is it Canada-wide? This can kind of help frame the scope of your search when you seek more information about it. And then you can really just start Googling, looking up some information, again, talking to others about it, trying to learn more about, what's the history of this issue in your community? What's been done about it so far? Who is working on it? This is because, more often than not, there may already be people that have kind of organized around it in some way, shape, or form. In this way, you can, maximize your time and your energy. So rather than starting from scratch and forming a whole new group about to do with decent work, you can just learn about the other organizations that have really been championing this work, and then you can kind of get connected with them. So, if the issue is big enough, there most likely will already be some established groups or organizations, and start to seek those organizers and activist groups out. We did drop a couple resources or basically tools that are good for helping to locate local groups near you, and that is Nextdoor and Meetup. They're two different apps that you can use to kind of look up different groups that are happening in your neighborhood. And I would also mention that Access Alliance, we're also a resource. Like, if we have potential, we have access to quite a bit of information in different networks. You can always reach out to myself or another program staff, and pick their brain. Like, if it's a particular issue that you really want to address, we can maybe help get you connected to some of those networks or organizations if they exist. And the third step, start to take action. So, start identifying and contacting key individuals and groups. Sign up for email lists. Get informed about when the next meeting is happening and when the next event is happening, and show up to those meetings and events. If there is an organization that is dedicated to an issue that's close to you, you may even consider, doing what Purnima did, like offering to volunteer if you have time to spare. Volunteering your time and energy to those local advocacy groups or organizations helps you really get to know the cause better, but helps you to make connections as well. And there's definitely benefits of working alongside or in collaboration with an established organization. There's credibility that comes with an organization. They've established a certain amount of, or a certain level of trust with the communities that they work with partners. They have access to information, they have access to resources, they have space, and so I think that there's definitely benefits of kind of tagging on to some established organizations. Showing up at rallies and demonstrations is another really great way to just learn a little bit more, who are the different groups that are rallying around a particular cause. I remember on May 1st, we were part of the Decent Work Rally, but then there was also, the Ontario Nurses Association, there were unions, there were different groups kind of colliding all at Queen's Park, and you get to see who else is, has this issue close to their heart, and who else maybe you can connect with or work with. And, maybe if the issue is really specific or local within your community or neighborhood, or as Purnima mentioned, like maybe it's just within your building, and there isn't, an organization already or established group. This is where you might start to think about starting your own, and it could be online, it could be in person, it could be like a regular coffee or tea chat with your neighbors, where you just start to have some of those conversations, and maybe it's just starting with like some commiseration, some complaining, and you start to learn more like, okay, other people are struggling with this same thing too. Let's start to think maybe what we can do about it. And maybe if you wanted to take a step further and amplify your voice a little bit, you'd want to think about recruiting members. Purnima mentioned a lot of the work that she does is that door-to-door canvassing, going, talking to people, having those conversations. It really does, I think, make a difference and makes an impression on people, and helps to build trust with people in your community. And as a last point, harnessing the power of social media as a mobilizing tool. Social media, we can't deny that platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they're excellent tools, not only to communicate some of the messages that you want to get across, but also if you want to organize groups, organize meetings. And there's a lot of tutorials, free tutorials on YouTube on how to use the various platforms if you're less familiar with those. I want to turn it back to Purnima. From your perspective and from your place of experience, is there anything really missing from this list that you think should be on there, or anything that you wanted to add or comment on?
Thank you, Minda. No, I think you covered most of the theme. Yeah, and it's really, really, I will say that you are talking about to go and like get those resource or those information. I think this slide is full of resource. And I think here, if some of us like who are really wants to get involved for civic actions, if they just go through and think a little deep, every answer is here, honestly. So I started from zero, I want to say, because I was newcomer, I don't know anything. And in a sense, I was shy also, but now I can talk. I can go with the people, with the community people, feel really confident. And that is another my hope and my wish. And I'm really working on those newcomers just to see them that they can speak. They can speak for them, they can speak for the community. It's so important. And yeah, Miranda, you enlisted everything very clearly and well designed. Yeah, Thank you.
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
welcome.
Would there be any of these, like from your point of view, any of these tips that you feel like are the most important?
Yes, we need to know the community. And from my part, that I feel, yes, we have to know the community. We have to know the resource, where the resource, the source of the resource, how to get involved. But then the important thing I feel, the step 3, always the step 3, we need to take action. Action here, it seems like we have to go those conversation, we have to go those big rally, but action, it could be with yourself. Just sit and just start like Googling. Just sit and make a phone call to your friends. Hey, I am thinking like this way. What can we do? Just sit, and if you are in a network, just start discussion with them. Do you know something about that? I joined one workshop, they were talking like this. Do you think so? Networking, get involved, be active on your role. I think all that can make altogether that the way I am, that way I have those group. So let's tiny step. It go for a long term. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And with that, we can open it up to the audience. So, I mean, we've shared, Purnima has shared today some really, really great insights and experiences from her own social action journey. And we've shared some recommendations and tips as well. I'm curious to hear from others in the room. What is one thing that you're going to take away from today's discussion before we move on to the resources sharing, which is going to wrap up today's session? So maybe I will, I'm going to pick on people. And it doesn't have to be anything major, just something that really, you know, could be something that you learned today, something that really impressed you, maybe it's something that you're going to share with your family and friends at dinner tonight. So we're going to go around the room, and Maithili.
Can I share some? Yeah, I was about to say, can I share something? So what I really appreciated and understood, of course, you're doing wonderful work, participating in so many great initiatives and programs. And through that, other than bringing about a change or trying to bring about a change at a community level in your society, I think by participating in such initiatives, it is also a way to develop your skills, your confidence, which will help you, you know, probably get into the workforce in this country. So I'm sure this must have helped you. And as you mentioned, it made you more confident. So it is again, bringing the focus also on this important fact for a newcomer is by say volunteering or participating in such activities, other than bringing about a change or helping your community and community members, it is also helping your own self for your own personal development.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maithili. Wonderful. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Does anybody else want to go next? One thing you're going to take away from today's session.
If nobody, maybe I can share my one. I appreciate what Purnima shared, and I'm really proud to see her. The time we met, maybe in our Access Alliance project, maybe 2-3 years before, and now I can see the changes to Purnima. I am really encouraging myself that I have some more rising star in the community who will be like after Purnima, and Purnima also can create other leaders in the community. This is our kind of responsibility, right? So when we are in a position, we can create another people's encouraging women that if we can do that, you also can do that. So that way it is really inspiring me that together we can change it. I really appreciate Purnima and Miranda to organize this event. This is really excellent. And if it's possible, maybe I saw that you guys are recording this event. Maybe you can share, and we are happy to share in our network. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nadia,
Nadia.
thank you so much for your kind words. Truly, I want to add that I'm inspired by Nadia. There's no doubt. In 2017, when I started those volunteer work and then involvement with the project, I got so much positive that I want to say that like as a newcomer, we have really struggled, but how we can came out from those shell that actually I taught by Nadia. Honestly, I really appreciate, and this long journey, I totally, she supported me. The way that she supported me, I'm trying to pass those things, my fellow volunteer or members. Yeah. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you so much.
Anybody want to go? Anybody else want to share? I can also share. I think one thing that I really took away from like learning, getting to know you more throughout this whole process, I think you've really demonstrated, I mean, you clearly have accomplished a lot, but you're also able to communicate, your recommendations and your suggestions for how people can get involved in a really simple way. I think a lot of people get bogged down or intimidated by or overwhelmed by, oh, what can I do as I'm just one person? But the way that you have framed it, like it really can just be a simple act of, jumping on your computer, start Googling, start looking up some information. And I think the more you learn, the more you find out, the more motivated you're going to get, more conversations you have with people about it, the more, connected you feel. And I think that's a really inspiring, way to look at it. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Minda. Thank you. The way I started, honestly, I just stated the true words today. I started like that way, with few friends, then network, and then came into the project, then big group, then big organization like Workshop Center. Now here I am. Thank you.
Amazing journey. So we don't have too much time left. So I do want to make sure we have some time to share some really great resources that we've compiled that we hope are helpful to you in your social action journey. So I'm going to hand it over to Saud, who's going to walk us through that. And thank you so much again, Purnima, for your insights and sharing today. It's really been very powerful. Thank you. And I'm going to hand it over to Saud.
Yes, thank you, Miranda. Should I wait for you to share the screen, Miranda, before?
Oh, I wasn't sharing. I should have been. Let's remove. Yeah, we want to pin you, and we want to. Yeah, let me just pull it up. There we go. Okay. Perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Miranda. Yes, so just being mindful of the time, we can just give an overview of these resources quickly, and then they're linked in the slideshow and provided in a folder to all participants. So you can take a look at these links as well as a lot of other resources. But there we have some resources on how to talk to the media, which was a big part of today's conversation with Purnima. So the first link there talks about how you as an individual or a group of engaged citizens can reach out to someone who's in the media with a pitch for an idea. So let them know about your work and how they can help bring attention to your work. And the second link there is the Activist Handbook. And if possible, maybe we can take a look at it, but it has several different chapters. And one of those chapters is about communication. So I see Miranda flipping to your right there. Yeah, so chapter 6, communication, talks about how you can both communicate to an audience. So through social media, make sure that you have one consistent message and one thing that you're advocating for. So for instance, we heard Purnima talk a lot today about a $20 minimum wage and 10 paid sick days. So making sure that your messaging is on point. And then also, it's good to take a look at this because the different chapters talk about from the very basics of organizing and getting together with people to things like communicating and using different tools. And then Miranda has also linked on the following tab, a resource for activists and advocates, 5 good ideas to keep yourself engaged and involved as your advocacy journey begins. And also different resources are linked in that PDF. And then back to the slideshow on the second page, or actually a few things that I forgot to highlight. There's also using Facebook as a tool for organizing. So Facebook has a neighborhoods feature, but oftentimes what you will see for your own neighborhood is just a Facebook group. And so if you search up your neighborhood, then you're most likely to find a Facebook group where there's residents both talking about things that are important to them and advocating for really important causes like the one we discussed today. And then on the next slide, we have a few more important things linked. So in addition to Facebook, a lot of neighborhoods will use things like Nextdoor to organize. It's both an app and a website. And then also Meetup for things like hosting rallies or just getting together a group of engaged citizens. We also have a PDF linked there that talks about Toronto's government and how the city operates and its legislative structure. So oftentimes when you're beginning to take action as a group of engaged citizens, you want to see what helpful resources you can get from the city itself. And that PDF gives an overview. And then we also have linked some slides that Purnima has provided from the Workers Action Center. And those are really important, and please take a look at it. And I'm not sure if we have time to go through them today, but maybe we can just make sure that all participants know where to access them.
Yeah, I think so. Purnima, I hope you're okay with this, and I've just saved your slides as a PDF.
Yeah.
Was there anything in here that you particularly wanted to share with people? Basically, you know, if people are really interested to learn more about the Workers Action Center and like the decent work cause and the different demands that are being made, I do encourage you to take a look at these slides because there's some great information there. Is there anything that you'd want to point specifically to, Purnima?
Miranda, one thing I have to say, we are in the community. If you leave this Victor Prague for, eventually you will say me. Recently, we did a massive postering. So our information is there. Take the information, go online. If you are really feel, yes, you can take part with us. Go online, check, you can take those petitions. You can go our website just to know better. And eventually you will share this slide with them, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they will have the information, and already we shared most of them. We covered that our demands and every information. One thing from my part that I can request: go and get involved. Just start with us, and you will feel empowered. That one thing I can say, and take those petitions. Let the politician know. We need those. We have those demands, and please come and make those demands fulfilled. So we can live a happy and, in a sense, in a good community. Because when there is a problem, we don't feel okay. So we need to be like raise our voice, especially those demands. Yeah. So everything is in the slides.
Great.
I think most of the part we covered.
Thank you so much. Yes, we will definitely be sharing all of this information with everybody. afterwards. And here's the link to the article in the Toronto Star that features Purnima. So please do take a look at that as well. And with that, I think we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to Purnima and Maithili and Saud and Yasmin for helping put together this session. And thank you so much to everybody who joined. I really do hope that you found it informative and useful and inspiring as I did. And, you know, I'll continue to keep in touch with everybody in terms of, I'll be sharing out the resources that we've linked. And we do have one final ask of you, is to just take 3 minutes or less to fill out a quick feedback survey. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and we are going to stay online for the next 5 minutes or so until, in case anybody has any questions about the survey or they're not able to access it. But we really do appreciate your feedback to make sure that any future workshops and sessions that we do are incorporating your feedback and are improved upon. And actually, we are going to be evaluating this entire workshop series as a whole. So yes, I appreciate your time to give us that feedback. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll hang out here for the next little bit in case anybody has any questions.
Miranda, thank you so much from my side. You don't know how I'm feeling here, because my start was really as a newcomer, and I feel so empowered, and I'm really happy to pass those messages. So we'll be in touch for sure. And that I said, we are in the community, people eventually will find us, and in future event for sure, we will pass those messages through you, because you have the contact information that here today. Just pass those messages, and maybe hopefully soon we will do another big event to empower this community one more time. My thanks, my deep gratitude to Nadira. Thank you so much, Appa, to be here, because she's busy, I know, but she's here just to present herself. I'm so grateful. Thanks, Maithili, Saud, and Yasmin. Thanks, all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Purnima.
Thank
was
you.
wonderful
And all the
having
very
you.
best.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Purnima.
I'm taking the survey now.
Thank you. Amazing. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks everybody for joining, and good night.